The evolution of virtual reality. Where are we headed? Welcome to Tech Prior. Although Antonin Artaud is credited with coming up with the phrase virtual reality in 1938 and defining it as theater of the mind, the idea of virtual reality has been around for a far longer period. One can find the earliest examples of virtual reality dating back to the 1800s, in the form of panoramic paintings and computer-generated graphics. In addition, in the year 1935, Stanley G. Weinbaum released a book called Pygmalion Spectacles, which was about a fantastic pair of goggles that could transport its wearers into a made-up world. In this video, we will talk about the evolution of virtual reality. In 1957, Morton Heilig created the Sensorama, which was one of the earliest virtual reality (VR) systems to imitate all of the senses. Ivan Sutherland introduced the world to the first virtual reality headgear in 1968 with the creation of the Sword of Damocles. The only purpose served by this cumbersome and pricey apparatus was research. Oculus VR, which was eventually purchased by Meta, was the company that introduced the world to its first modern virtual reality headgear in 2010. Since then, virtual reality (VR) technology has evolved, and several firms, including HTC, Sony, and Microsoft, have released new VR headsets. Recent developments in the field of virtual reality technology. One of the most important steps forward in virtual reality technology was the creation of the head-mounted display, often known as an HMD. This was a piece of equipment that enabled users to completely submerge themselves in a simulated setting. In the 1960s, it was initially used in flight training for pilots in the aviation sector. The decade of the 1980s saw the development of computer-generated imagery, CGI, as well as 3D graphics, both of which contributed to the maturation of VR systems. This development made it possible to create virtual worlds that were more accurate, which contributed to the expansion of virtual reality games and entertainment. Additional progress was made in virtual reality technology throughout the 1990s, with the introduction of the first VR headsets that were made accessible for purchase, such as the Virtuality System. This decade also saw the advent of virtual reality (VR) in the field of education and training. VR is now being used to replicate potentially dangerous locations to better prepare students for real-world scenarios. The process of development via gaming. The development of virtual reality technology has been significantly aided by the gaming industry, which has been a primary driving force overall. During the 1980s, developers built some of the earliest examples of virtual reality games, such as Battlezone. Players got a taste of what virtual reality gaming may be like, even though the systems were quite basic in comparison to those available now. The 1990s saw the introduction of Dactyl Nightmare and the Nintendo Virtual Boy, two of the first VR games that incorporate head tracking. This led to a surge in the popularity of more complex virtual reality gaming. The development of virtual reality gaming has come a long way in recent years, and there are now a great many VR games available for use with devices like the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and PlayStation VR. If you want to watch more videos like this, kindly like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Altering the virtual reality headset. Throughout its history, virtual reality headsets have evolved from cumbersome and pricey devices to elegant and reasonably priced ones. In the early days of virtual reality, the only method to experience it was to use pricey head-mounted displays, HMDs, that were primarily used for research. The progression continued from the first virtual reality headset created by Morton Heilig, known as the Telesphere Mask, to Ivan Sutherland's 1968 Sword of Damocles. Then, in the 1980s, VPL Research created the Data Glove, which was followed by a few more experimental VR headgear in the years that followed. Oculus VR debuted the Oculus Rift in 2010, which was the first modern virtual reality headset featuring stereoscopic 3D and head tracking to create a realistic experience for users of the technology. Other companies, such as Sony and HTC, have been quick to follow suit with the release of new types of virtual reality headsets. The development of virtual reality in educational settings. Since that time, virtual reality has been put to use in a wide range of educational contexts, such as the study of foreign languages, the training of anatomy students, and the modeling of historical events. Even while this was not virtual reality's primary use when it was first developed, the technology has seen significant advances in recent years. Students are presented with a one-of-a-kind opportunity to acquire new knowledge and abilities in a setting that is both secure and supervised, because to the fact that virtual reality can be utilized to imitate surroundings that exist in the real world. As a direct consequence of this development, virtual reality, VR, has emerged as a very useful tool for teachers all over the world. The role that COVID-19 played in the development of virtual reality. The epidemic that was caused by COVID-19 had a huge effect on the industry of virtual reality. Even though the virtual reality, VR, sector was already booming before the epidemic, the worldwide lockdown measures provided attraction and boosted adoption. As a direct consequence of the epidemic, many people took advantage of the chance to utilize virtual reality technologies for remote jobs, online instruction, and distance learning. As a result of the increasing use of virtual reality technology, there has been a rise in the demand for virtual reality headsets to be used in gaming, entertainment, and educational settings. The present state of virtual reality. The virtual reality business is poised for explosive growth over the next several years, as virtual reality itself becomes increasingly mainstream. In keeping with this point of view, the cost of virtual reality headsets is dropping, and they are getting simpler and more intuitive to use. Additionally, an increasing variety of virtual reality, VR, apps, games, and gadgets are now available for everyone to use and enjoy as a means of participating in a VR experience. Virtual reality, VR, is also making headway in a wide range of areas, including education, healthcare, retail, and tourism, among others. In addition, more people are getting interested in the virtual reality business, even though they may not yet be using the technology. Not to mention the large number of individuals who are already utilizing the technology. As VR continues to evolve, its application will likely extend to virtually all sectors. We can expect to see an expansion in the use of VR beyond gaming and entertainment into areas like education, healthcare, retail, real estate, and more. The future of VR in these industries will likely involve more immersive training programs, virtual tours, product demonstrations, and treatments, among other applications. To sum everything up, the concept of virtual reality didn't emerge until the 1960s, but it's already come a long way since then. As a consequence of continued research and development, virtual reality, VR, technology, including VR headsets, has advanced to the point where it is now more user-friendly, affordable, and accessible. Now that virtual reality, VR, technology is being used in a variety of fields, its influence and appeal are only going to continue to expand in the years to come. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.